Crystal's throwing her hands out. All right. Hello to everyone on Facebook, and welcome everyone here to Many Paths Spiritual Center. On behalf of Reverend Deb Moore, I'm Ryan Gill, and this is the Sanctuary Band. Everybody say hi. Jackie, Jackson, and Daphne. Welcome, everybody. We're going to start off this morning by singing a couple of songs back to back. We're going to get our hearts open and our minds open and be aligned with everything that's going on here today so that we can love on each other really good and well today. So let's all stand up and sing one of my theme songs, All Is Well and Unfolding as It Should. 2, 3, 4. I'm not worried about tomorrow. Today I declare freedom from yesterday's mistakes of the past. Today all things are made brand new, and don't it feel good to know that all is well and unfolding as it should. I can change my reality by changing my mind. Perfect peace, joy, and happiness is yours about kindness. It's about hearts open wide. It's about love. It's about passion. It's about taking a chance. It's about love. It's about service. It's about lending a hand. Lending a hand. Swing wide the doors. The time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Ring the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. There's a voice that I've heard for years, and I've learned to keep it inside. Now it's coming in loud and clear. I want a deeper life. It's about love, it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smiles. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand. Lending, let me hear you sing it. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Ring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart. One more time. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Ring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. All right. Please be seated. If there's any kids who would like to go to Miss Steph. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, if I didn't know I had to stay in here, I'd be excited too. Okay, Reverend Deb, will you promise we'll have fun in here today too? Okay, all right. Well, I know those last two songs were awful fun, that's for sure. So welcome, everyone. Welcome to Mini Path Spiritual Center. This is Nashville's spiritual alternative. Not that there aren't other alternatives, but we are a unicorn. Unique unicorn in the spiritual community of Davidson County, Sumner County, all the counties surrounding areas. We are so happy to have you. We are an interfaith, affirming spiritual community, and we are an intentional spiritual community, meaning that we decide our own future. We decide our own path. In the same way that you choose your spiritual path and we are here to support you, we all come together as a spiritual community and support each other. We're here to love each other. We're here to support each other along our spiritual paths. And we come here so that we can learn, too, different ways to be successful in our spiritual journey. So big thank you for being here, everyone. We are a very vibrant spiritual community. There's a lot of stuff going on. And April, why don't you tell us about it? All right. Everybody say hi, April.
Hi, April. All right. You get me twice today. All right. Announcements for today. Happy Class is our Tuesdays at 6, where fitness meets fun. This Tuesday features Yoga Groove paired with uplifting relaxation. Sign-ups are in the front room. Feast for the Soul with Frank. The Feast for the Soul is an annual 40-day spiritual practice journey that encourages...
Yeah, the last one was the 18th. Yeah. Sorry. Last one
That
was last
is
Wednesday.
no longer
If you missed it, well,
a feast for your soul. So, best of luck. All right. Your second Astro Chat is today here at Mini Path Spiritual Center. The conversation starts at 1 p.m. Feel free to grab lunch and then come back. See Valerie for more info. Valerie, thank you. What is pranic healing and how does it work? A free 90-minute discussion and interactive session with Deborah Champion on Sunday, March 1st at 1 p.m. Okay, entering Mini Path Spiritual Center's throat chakra. Wednesday, March 4th, 6:30 p.m. by Zoom. This meeting is open to all. We are exploring and clarifying how we communicate, classes, events, and small groups information. We have various ways to promote information through our organization, and this meeting's goal is to more efficiently find ways to improve. So suggestions are open and welcomed. The Zoom link is in the weekly email that comes out on Tuesdays and our social media platforms. Breathe and Be, a service of mindfulness. Thursday, March 5th at 6:30, an offering of prayer and meditation to remind you of your divinity and sacred space. All are invited. And save the date for the Homecoming 2026 concert on March 19th at 7 p.m. and service on March 22nd at 11 a.m. More info to follow. Just telling Ryan this morning that next weekend will be my first year of coming to Mini Paths. So that will
so the
feel
homecoming
special.
is really just for her.
Yeah, it's just mine. Okay, Sacred Satsang Circle with Rev Deb, Thursday, March 26th, discussion, reflection, support with your loving community. All activity or meeting links and contact numbers can be found on the website in our weekly happenings, Google Calendar, or you can always email Mini Path Spiritual Center. Thank you.
All right, and I do just want to take a second to have say a big thank you to Dean. And Clara, did you help him out? You helped him out quite a bit too, yeah. For coming out last Sunday with his chainsaw in the drizzle, the cold drizzle, the yucky weather that we had, and sawing down all these, everything that you see back there was done by Dean last Sunday. So we appreciate you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Big help. And the next step is getting all of that off the property, right? So we will definitely need help with that. So if you're interested in helping, if you'll just say hi to Ken on your way out of the service, he will be happy to kind of plug you in and find a good time and day for all of that to come together. Because what's coming up on the third week of March? Oh, yes, you're already getting it, right? So thank you again. Appreciate it.
Let's begin this portion of our service by taking a deep, centering breath. Today's centering thought is, I am creating a firm foundation for my spiritual path. There is a wise Zen saying that says you cannot stop birds from flying around your head, but you can prevent them from making a nest in your hair. As we begin to find our own spiritual path and mature spirituality, we discover that although we can't stop the world's news about lack and limitation, we can prevent it from living in our consciousness. How, you may ask? Through study, meditation, prayer, affirmations, and being in spiritual community. These are all tools for helping us turn towards the direction of spirit, or whatever you choose to call it, and develop a continuous awareness of the real love, joy, and peace that is always around us. All of us have this intuition, and when we listen deeply to our intuition, it will guide our spiritual path. Notice that we aren't saying that we should deny the noisy birds of lack and limitation that can fly around our lives, begging for our attention, but we are saying that when we stay our attention on the things that really matter in our lives, centering in truth of who we are as the children of the divine, then peace is always a moment away, always within our grasp. The more we practice this, the less those noisy birds will bother us. When we set our intention to stay focused on this reality, we create our world with a firm foundation. And when we build our spiritual path on this foundation, we will find a permanent shift in the outcomes of our lives. And now please repeat these affirming statements after me. When I listen deeply to my intuition, it will guide my spiritual path.
When I listen
When I focus on the divine presence within me, love, joy, and peace are always within my grasp. I am creating a firm foundation for my spiritual path. And so it is.
So it is. All right, let's sing. This is a song we've done a couple of times this month. We've done something for the first time this month in that we've alternated our congregational songs at this time. So just kind of, I'm all about shaking things up, right? So last week we did How Can I Serve Today? Let's do Turn It Over today. Let's all stand and sing it. Seated.
What a great energy to take into meditation, isn't it? I invite you to close your eyes. Lower your shoulders. Center yourself. Imagine that you are standing at the top of a set of stairs. 5 stairs. And You inhale, and as you exhale, you take one step down. And with that step, you go a little deeper. And you inhale. And exhale one step down. A little deeper. The third step. Deeper still. Step 4, we let go. Release everything. We want to go deeper. Now we step all the way down. There's a voice that I've heard for years. I've learned to keep it inside. But now, here, it's coming in loud and clear. I want a deeper life. I'm done playing around the edges. I'm done running from good feeling to good feeling. I want a deeper life. A life centered on truth. A life centered on peace. A life centered on joy. A life centered on justice for all. A life centered on being fully awakened to who I am and who I should be in this world. A life centered on love. Let's hold that thought in the stillness, in the silence. The more that I center myself around truth, the more I seek a deeper life, the simpler life becomes. Because I no longer ask, should I support this cause or that cause? Should I stand up here or sit down? Should I speak out? Should I stay quiet? We only ask, what
that line for good. Whatever you decide, ask yourself from inside, what would love do now? Everything is either an act of love or a cry for love. That's why for love we try for love. In the end, that's all we know that's real. Whether right or wrong doesn't matter, just as long as you let your heart decide. Ask yourself from inside, what would love do now? 'Cause everything is either an act of love or a cry for love. That's why for love we try for love. And that's all we know that's real. So just before you say something you can't take away, take a breath and let it out. Try to think about what would love do now? What would love do now? What would love do now?
I cannot, if I had tried, I could not have made a better segue into what we're fixing to talk about here. Before I get started with my talk today, I want to invite Trey to come up. We've got some visitors here from the Sumner County Advocates. I was fortunate enough to be involved in one of their actions earlier in the year when we went and talked to the sheriff of Sumner County, Eric Craddock. But they continue the work, and Trey's going to talk to you a little bit about it. Trey, I don't even know your last name. Primrose. Oh my God, now that's going to be my character name in my new novel.
I'm honored for that. Thank you. Hello, I'm Trey Primrose, and today I'm thankful for the opportunity to speak to you on behalf of my coalition, Sumner Advocates for Immigrant Dignity, otherwise known as Sumner Aid. Our mission is to dissolve the 287G agreement between the Sumner County Sheriff Office and ICE, or at least pressure them to operate more transparently in our community, all while supporting the immigrant community and educating the general population on what is going on with ICE, with a focus on our local impact. We're here today because of the urgency of the moment. Members of our immigrant community are being targeted, stigmatized, and set up to fail. Over the past year, I'm sure we've all read stories and seen videos that have tugged at our heartstrings. Sumner Aid is made up of regular people who want to do something about that. We do not believe that vilifying an entire group of people benefits anybody. And we don't believe that having armed and masked federal agents patrolling our street makes us safer. Instead, we believe that our community is more secure and stronger when we are set up to succeed. We got our start after learning that the Sumner County Sheriff had signed on to a 287G agreement last spring. 287G is a voluntary agreement with ICE that allows local law enforcement to perform immigration enforcement duties. To get more clarity, we organized a meeting between community leaders and the sheriff. The focus of the meeting was to try and understand why he'd signed on to the contract, if he had any intentions to escalate to a more severe model, and to address several other concerns. We left that meeting with an understanding that he didn't seem to fully understand what he had signed on to, that the safety of his constituents was not the highest priority, and that he didn't have any intention of being upfront with how he intended to work alongside ICE. Since then, we have seen arrests of immigrants and U.S. citizens by ICE in the Sumner County Courthouse who were there to pay parking tickets. There have been reports of ICE doing ride-alongs with Portland PD and Goodlettsville PD. Just in the last couple of days, multiple teenagers were detained inside of our own courthouse. This not only goes outside the scope of what the sheriff told us in the meeting, but the complete deferment to ICE inside of our courthouse is a chilling tale of what the future in Sumner and Tennessee looks like if this is not put into check sooner rather than later. Meanwhile, in the current legislative session, there are 40-plus anti-immigrant bills that were revealed to be worked on by Tennessee reps and Stephen Miller. Many of the more heinous bills are sponsored by Sumner County reps Lamberth and Garrett. In fact, Representative Garrett recently claimed that immigrants accounted for around 50% of the crime in Tennessee. That is a blatant lie. Immigrant crime in total makes up about 2% of statewide crime. 80 to 90% of that crime is for non-violent offenses such as traffic tickets, meaning that 0.2 to 0.4% of violent crime in Tennessee, is committed by immigrants. I ask you, does that sound like we need more than 40 bills to get this problem in check? Lastly, members of our coalition have recently worked alongside organizers in Wilson County to oppose the proposed ICE detention center in Lebanon, Tennessee. That effort is just starting, but their petition opposing the detention facility has reached nearly 4,000 signatures. It was started less than a week ago. That is just one example of people using their power to stand up for communities, and it's happening all over the country, including here in Nashville. Sumner Aid will be here after the service today and hope to speak with you so we can share some action items that you can take, such as signing our petition and donating to a local food pantry that serves the immigrant community. Almost done. This work is often presented as controversial. However, this isn't an issue of left versus right, but right versus wrong. We need everyday people from all walks of life to step up for one another and speak up for what's right. Thank you for your time once again.
Thank you so much. He told me he wasn't a good speaker. He was an excellent speaker. Thank you so much. And I know, this is a community that is focused on doing the right thing and showing up in the right way in our world, not as some kind of partisan ideology or some kind of whatever it is, cause of the month kind of thing, cause du jour, but as a way of showing up every day as love. What would love do now? What would love do now? I don't think love would put on a mask and go abduct someone off of the streets because of an ideology. I'm not political from up here, but everything's political. Principles are political, right? I'll tell you what's not political. What is not political is my T-shirt. Hold on a minute. Happy New Year! Happy Year of the Fire Horse, my friends. We are here in the Year of the Fire Horse, and let me tell you something. The Year of the Fire Horse, I can feel it already. I can feel it already. So, Happy New Year. We're standing at the beginning of something new. This was the Chinese Lunar New Year this past week on the 17th. And so we're standing at the beginning of a new thing. The good thing about Happy New Year is you could say it every day of the year, right? Because time is a construct and it's all made up. So every day is Happy New Year. As a matter of fact, it makes a whole lot more sense to follow the phases of the moon like our ancestors did, like the ancients did in trying to corral our time or mark our time. So we're here at the beginning of something that's brewing in the world and that's brewing within us. Not just a lunar calendar year, but a current, a momentum of fire. So we enter the Year of the Fire Horse this year. Whether or not you follow the Chinese zodiac makes me never know mind, right? It doesn't matter. We're many paths. You can think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. You can think it's all hogwash. Regardless, we're going to be talking about it all year long. So, no. Regardless of that, its symbols speak to the subconscious, right? Symbols bypass the arguing mind and they go straight to the inner knowing. That's why they become so important. And even if the Lunar New Year and the Chinese zodiac is a bunch of hogwash, we've got a significant number of people who are focused on the symbolism of the fire horse right now. 1 out of every 5 or 6 people on the planet is Chinese, right? 1 out of every 5 or 6 people on the planet is Chinese. So the Chinese Lunar New Year, there's a whole big percentage of our population carrying this energy. The horse represents movement. As a matter of fact, I teach intro to film, and the very first, one of the earliest moving pictures examples we have was the short, like 18-second film of a running horse, right? And I think it was a wealthy man, maybe Andrew Carnegie, I can't remember who was trying to solve a bet. He had a bet with somebody on whether or not all 4 legs of the horse left the ground at one point in the gallop. And they couldn't do that, they couldn't figure it out until moving pictures came along and gave them the moment. By the way, there is a moment where they all 4 leave the ground. So the horse represents movement. The horse represents freedom and power and instinct and the refusal to be fenced in, independence and endurance, moving with purpose. Sounds a whole lot like what social justice advocates are being called to do this year, have been called to do. That's what that horse represents. Fire represents transformation, illumination, passion, vitality, visibility, purification. We're purified by fire. You put them together and you get force. You get velocity. You get bold, unapologetic momentum. Hold on. Put your seatbelts on, my friends. This is supposed to be a new moon, except I think it's really an eclipse. But we're going with the fact that it might be a new moon, okay?
New moon is an eclipse.
Okay. All right, then. All right. Thank you so much. It's in lunar eclipse. So we're going to say this is a new moon, even though I don't see any of the moon's dips and divots on there, but nonetheless, it's just a generated picture, my friends. Don't expect too much. When the moon is at its darkest is the new moon. Full moons tend to get all the attention, right? They're like the youngest of 3 sisters, which I am not. I'm the middle child, in case you didn't notice that hint of bitterness. All right. But the new moon is the new beginning. It doesn't have a lot of fanfare. It's just the quiet start, the unnoticed birth of something that's about to begin its journey toward fullness. What a beautiful, soft kind of energy. The first day of the Chinese lunar year is the new moon that appears between January 21st and February 20th. So that new moon, February 17th, was the Lunar New Year, also known in China as the Spring Festival, right? It's a way to put the Spring Festival kind of right in the middle of winter in the Northern Hemisphere, right? We're ready for spring, bring it on. And so the Chinese each Chinese year is designated by a heavenly stem. They call it a heavenly stem, which is one of the 5 elements, and an earthly branch, which is one of the 12 zodiac animals of the Chinese zodiac. So this year, the heavenly stem is Bing, big sun, big fire, and the earthly branch is Wu, horse, year of the fire horse. The festivities in China last for 15 days, so we're still in the middle of the New Year celebration. We're right on time. We're not late. And we're going to use this lunar calendar for 1 whole year. I've never done this in the years of my ministry, but we're going to have a year-long series. Oh, yes, we are. Who knows how many different tangents I'm going to go off on during that year, but that's what we're going to do. We're going to use the symbolism and the energy at work in this lunar year. We're going to work with it. So here's our year-long theme. Harnessing sacred fire, passion, action, and intentional momentum.
Yeah. All right.
Awesome. This is going to be about this year. The energies of this year are think of the words intensity, rapid transformation, action, challenges, passion, ambition, courage, independence, restlessness, impulsivity, vitality. The pace this year is going to pick up. Trey probably already knows that, don't you? The pace this year is going to pick up. And the key is to be intentional about how we respond to these changes. Now, many people say, and historically it's been said a lot, that fire horse years are disruptive. And I would say to that, well, a little disruption can be a good thing, right? I did not plan this. This is all spirit at work, I suppose. But the connection between our recent series on Shiva, the energy of destruction, the energy of destroying anything that stands in our way, and the fire horse energy, that connection is so strong, right? It's been front and center in my thoughts. So through that disruption, through that kind of shaking up the apple cart that comes, what we get from that is we get a new demand for clarity, right? We get a new call for self-regulation, for being not scattered, for let's be aligned. We see a new need for intentional action. So back in December, I think it was the last week of December, we talked about being on deck. Not steering the ship, not controlling the wind, not mapping every current, just being topside, present and ready, right? I'll swab the deck, you guide the ship. That was the energy. I'm here, I'll do the work, but I don't have all the answers. That energy, that surrender energy, is the way sacred fire becomes holy rather than destructive. Right? Fire can be immensely destructive. It can also be purifying. Fire can destroy a neighborhood. Fire, it can also be controlled and moved through a forest to help the forest overall health, right? And so fire it's how you use it. It has multiple uses. The act of centering our fire in beingness, presence, sacredness. That's what turns destruction into the act of clearing the way for new life. We can think of this as a destructive year. We can think of it as clearing the way for new life. So I want to give you 3 statements that have come to me about how we should think about fire this year, or how I'm going to think about fire. Ain't no shoulds. I'm not going to should all over you. All right. Fire without surrender becomes ego. If I don't surrender to the greater good, to what I feel is divine calling, to what is sacred pulling at me, then I'm just acting with ego. Look at my flame, right? Look how big I can make this fire. Fire without grounding becomes burnout. If there's one thing I've learned or read in the research that I've been doing about the year of the fire horse over the last couple of weeks, is that this year is definitely one in which you should ground yourself regularly. Like, it's going to be the kind of year you're going to need to ground yourself. So if we don't ground ourselves, we become burnt out. It's so easy to do when the world is calling us to stand up for so many things, right? Fire without wisdom becomes adrenaline. Adrenaline. Anybody felt a surge of adrenaline, right? We know what that feels like, a real surge of adrenaline. It feels urgent. It feels kind of internally noisy. It feels pressured. I've got to go, got to work with this adrenaline. But there's another way to move in the world, and that's by answering the call. Listening to a calling. Calling feels steady. Calling feels steady even when it's a bold call. Adrenaline says, prove it, hurry, win, right? Let's go. I remember I was raised in a family of adrenaline. Let me just put it that way. And I can remember there's a common, I don't know if this is my big sister, if this is my mother, but this is kind of one of the ways that we get things done in our family. Let's go. Right? If you get raised in a family like that, your nervous system is so imbalanced, you can't see straight. Let me just tell you. So that urges, that kind of Unsustainable adrenaline is not what we're looking for. Calling instead says participate, align, move. So I want to get very clear from the very beginning that this year is not about hustle spirituality. This year is not about optimizing your enlightenment. This year is not about racing everyone else and competing. This year is not about go, 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 do. Come on, let's go, right? There is no sacred goddess up there going, come on, let's go. Right? This year is going to be about harnessing sacred fire. Anything else brings stress, and stress exhausts rather than energizes. We talked about stress last year too. Stress is the inner conflict between who we are and who we pretend to be. And as I've started working with these ideas, I questioned the use of the word harnessing. It's not just in the title, it's the first word of the title, right? Harnessing sacred fire. Because I thought maybe that's a little negative. Maybe it's got a negative connotation. You know, the English professor in me was questioning everything. But harnessing is about directing and aligning, right? The fastest racehorse on the track is harnessed. Think of the harness not as the restriction, but as the intention. The harness is the intention we place on the formerly unbridled energy moving through our lives. The only way the jockey and the horse can work together is through the subtle energies that are delivered via the harness. They talk to each other. So the fire horse year is powerful energy, but power without intention scatters, and scattered fire burns out quickly. How do you get rid of a fire at the end of a bond? Well, let's spread it all out, right? We want to pull it back in. We want to pull our energy back in. So we have 4 stages to our year. I'm going to lay it all out for you. This is the preliminary time here where I'm going to lay it all out for you. Not because we need to obsess over outcomes or we need to make sure we hit the right spot at the right moment, but because intention matters. Intention matters. So first, we're going to deal with the preparation. We're going to follow these new moons from the new moon on February 17th till the new moon on May 16th, even though they may not be Sundays. We're going to stay within those parameters. This is the time where we make all the preliminary considerations, up to and including deciding whether or not we're going to race, picking a horse, right? Clearing the track, assembling our crew. This phase is about reclaiming that scattered energy. We're going to pull it back in. We're going to bring it back home first. We're going to find out where we're leaking fire. Where are the fires that might need to be put out? We're too scattered. What needs to be fully and finally released? Fully and finally released. We talk about letting go a lot here. What is it that you've let go of 11 times, right? And you're ready to say, I'm fully and finally releasing that. I'm ready to let it go. Where are we half committed? Where are we confusing motion with momentum? Anybody can be in motion, right? I can be busy and get nothing done. What needs to happen to make full surrender and commitment feel like freedom? Right? This is for us individually, but it's also for us as a community. This is about first building our community here. So I want to remind you of one of those 4 Shiva prayers that I left you with last week. Remove, destroy, or transform anything that keeps us from loving one another. Step 1, first we build community. First we love one another. First we determine our values and our focus. We get clear on who we are and who we are to others in the world. Step 2, training. May 16th to August 12th. This is when we commit to our practice. This is when we build our stamina of attention, right? How many of you, and when you started trying to learn how to meditate, you're like, I'll never be able to do this. Like, isn't that the first stage for everybody? Like, I can't sit still. No, my mind is just going like this. Well, that's why you meditate, because your mind is going like this, right? We got to get clear. We got to clear it out. This is when we build our stamina of attention. This is when we step into discipline without harshness. We don't need to be harsh about this. This is not prison spirituality. The practice isn't the work of building walls. It's the work of clearing the space. Right? I make a space for that sacred fire to glow inside me. This is not perfectionism. It's alignment. And I remind you of this from last week. Remove, destroy, or transform anything that keeps me from you. My higher self, Shiva, Jesus, God, whatever you want to call it. Remove anything. This is what the practice is. I'm in training so that when I get ready to race, we're a team and we clearly communicate with each other, right? The third leg is running the race, August 12th to November 9th. Is when we're running the race, we're moving, we're doing, we're light on our feet, we're mentally flexible, we're spiritually centered, we know who we are. Then it's only natural at that point to step into focused, one-pointed action. One-pointed action means we don't worry about everything else. What would love do now? One-pointed action means this is what we stand for. And we're willing to stand up for that every single day. We know who we are. We're spiritually centered. We engage in bold, aligned movement. We are presence, under pressure, but still presence. We clearly identify what is ours to do. This is about clarity of purpose. We don't wonder what we can do. We do what Spirit asks of us to do. The how is none of our business. Last week we talked about how aligned and committed spiritual communities are mountain-moving machines. And we asked this question, will we bring to light what is dark? We answer that question in the preparation and training. Running the race is where we flip on the light switch. We can talk about bringing light to the darkness till we're blue in the face. We can sit here, come here every Sunday morning and talk about love and light till the cows come home. But when are we going to flip on the switch? When are we going to show up as the light? How are we going to show up as the light, right? I remind you, remove, destroy, or transform anything that limits our ability to do the work you would have us do. This is karma in motion. This is where every step plants something. Every action generates something. We're dancing with the universe. Sometimes it's a waltz, sometimes it's a tango. I get that, but we're in step and we're moving purposefully. And we know that, even when things seem to be falling apart, even when the change is happening and the chaos is happening, I'm still in it, I'm still on it, right? Because Fire Horse, we're going to have some 8-second Bronco rides this year, is what I've been hearing. The fourth area is going to be the cool down. You don't just end a race and say, that's it, go put the horse back in the stall. There's a process of cooling down. There's a process of taking care of the muscles. This is all about releasing and relaxing and rejuvenating and honoring the body and harvesting the wisdom that we gained from what happened. We do all 4 of these steps all the time, but we're just going to really slowly, we're not going to push it. We're going to sit in the energy of these 4 steps over the course of the year. Fire that never rests consumes itself. You remember me talking about banking the fire? I'll bring that up later on, but banking, my father taught me about banking the fire, where you take the hottest coal and you cover it up with ash. It'll stay there all night long. In the morning, you uncover it, you give it some kindling, and it'll blaze back up. So sometimes we have to bank our fire, right? It doesn't mean it's out. We're just resting. We want to remove, destroy, or transform anything that keeps us from being a force for healing, for ourselves, for the world, for others, for the planet, for the diversity of our communities that make up our society. May we be a source of comfort where other institutions have brought pain. May we be a source of reconciliation where ideology has driven wedges of hatred. So, instead of asking, what do I want to achieve? Maybe start simmering in these questions. Where is my fire currently focused? You have it, right? It could be scattered out all over a bunch of different stuff. Where's my fire needed? Where is my fire holy? Where is it doing holy work? Holy fire does not compete. Holy fire does not compare. Holy fire does not perform. It is not performative. Holy fire serves. Holy fire serves the greater good. Holy fire serves my higher self and the world around me. This is not about adding another layer to your busy life. It's about clarifying what is already burning. So we claim our fire and we ask ourselves this question. I don't want you to answer it today. I want you to think about it. This year, I commit my sacred fire to. Maybe let that sentence roll around in your beingness this week, and don't overthink it. Might just be one word. What is it? What focus, what singular focus do I want my holy fire to be in the direction of, doing the work of, right? So this first moon that we're starting is the moon where, and I'm just going to introduce you to it. We'll talk about it next week. The moon, first we have to decide to race. We have to decide if we're even going to participate or not. So over this next month, this first lunar cycle, we're not sprinting, we're deciding. We're getting really, really clear. Anybody really fast at making decisions? Like, yeah, like I'm super decisive. Like I'm one of these piss or get off the pot kind of people, right? Let's go. Let's make a decision. Let's make a decision. Let's go. My older sister, she's probably watching right now.
She is.
Is she? Yeah. Well, she's going to kill me about this later.
Said it was mom.
It was mom. It wasn't her. Okay. So my older sister's probably watching right now. So I'm like a decision maker, like boom, like this. Delinda told me, hi, honey. Hi, sister. Delinda told me last year sometime that she and her husband were going to buy a house. Yeah, that will never happen. Like they move slow. She blames it on Mark, but nonetheless, they move a little slow, right? This is about the decisions, steeping in how we make our decisions, how we decide. This is an are you in moment. Are you in? This is not a can I win? This is not a will I succeed? This is not what if we fail? Thank God there are people like Trey and the people he works with who don't ask those questions. It's just the right thing to do. Let's keep moving forward. Will we win? We're in the state of Tennessee. It's not looking good, right? But we keep going. We keep going. We keep standing up. We keep showing up. And then we get surprised when there's 400 of our neighbors standing up next to us going, yeah, we don't want that here, right? So this is, am I willing to stop drifting? Am I willing to gather my scattered energy? Am I willing to run my race instead of someone else's? Now, I want there to be two, I'm sure Delinda wrote something on there, didn't she?
Our current house is listed.
Our current house is listed. Oh my gosh. Woo! This is fire horse energy. We got some fire horse energy going on right here. I'm telling you. I want there to be two guides, hopefully. This is my two guides. Hopefully they'll be yours. I offer them to you. Take them as you see them helpful. There's something I want to address before we go into this year, and I was going to do like maybe even a whole talk about it, but I'm not going to give it that much energy. I want to talk about Deepak and the Epstein files. All right? So some of you might have seen that a revered spiritual teacher, one that many of us have listened to, read books from, followed, or whatever, is more than a little bit mentioned in the Epstein files, to the point where it doesn't look good. Let's just put it that way. It's not just that his name is mentioned, it's some of the interaction that's gone back and forth that indicates that he was a bit of a player in this whole thing going on. I'm not going to go into great detail. You can look it up. You can follow it. A lot of people are coming out. I think this is fire horse energy. A lot of people are coming out on social media and saying, look, this is the reconciliation we've been needing. Reconciliation happens when our heroes fall, right? I think about Jimmy Swaggart back in the 70s. I think about my own father who lost his ministry because of a scandal, right? I think about all of the folks who fall from above. And here's what I want you to, the reason why I'm talking about this is this. Years ago, someone told me, before I was giving one of my earlier spiritual talks, someone told me, just use a bunch of quotes. They love quotes. It's like, that was my guidance. Just use a bunch of quotes. People love quotes. Just use quotes. And lately, I haven't been using as many quotes. Even when I did use a lot of quotes, I love a lot of quotes from Osho. Go look that dude up, right? There's lots of questions around him. There's all kinds of spiritual teachers with they're human, they fail, and sometimes they fail miserably, right? Sometimes they do really crappy things. And it's unfortunately worse because they've started to believe that they really belong on the pedestal everyone's put them on. And they lose the sense of, I'm just one of all of us, right? I'm just one of all of us. And we're all in this together. So you're going to see probably fewer quotes. You're going to see some. But I'm more interested in us tapping into the wisdom that we all already have within us, which is everything they have, right? Everything they have. So 2 suggestions for the year. Number 1 is be your own guru. Be your own guru. Don't let it be me. Don't let it be anyone else. Don't let it be Deepak. Don't let it be Oprah, right? Be your own guru. Listen to your own wisdom. You know what to do. And if you don't know what to do, you notice it still, right? Trust only what arrives as truth in your soul. Trust only what arrives as truth in your soul. If I say anything from up here over the course of the year and you say to yourself, that's horseshit, let it be horseshit for you, all right? Let it be something that you completely dismiss. You are the guru of your life. You are the leader of your journey. You are your own Sherpa, right? So, the fire horse. Oops, sorry, I may have hit it again. The fire horse is bold. But bold does not mean reckless. Bold means aligned. So we're going to decide, we'll train, we'll act, we'll rest, we'll do it consciously. We'll do it intentionally. We'll harness the fire rather than letting it consume us. And when in doubt, we just show up back with that on-deck energy. Remember? Show up, do what's yours to do, let go of the rest. Show up, do what's yours to do, let go of the rest. Right? When in doubt. Sacred fire does not need forcing, it needs clarity. So let's let this be the year where we stop leaking energy. Maybe this can be the year where we move with intention, individually and as a group, as a community, as Many Paths Spiritual Center. Let this be the year where our passion is driven by sacred momentum. It's driven by sacred momentum. Are you in? Don't answer that. Just sit with it. Namaste.
Every step plants something. Every action generates something. That's what I heard, and that's what really impacted me, because I know that there's a lot of times that I take a lot of steps, and nothing is planted, and I'm exhausted from taking all those steps, and there's a lot of times that I am a flurry of activity, and I don't generate anything, it's just passing time or twiddling my thumbs or whatever. So I love this idea of intentionally setting a path to grow on. And how exciting is that for us as individuals and for us as a community? Because, everything that we do as individuals on our spiritual path shows up in our world. And this is a part of our world. So what can we do if we are all just loving each other on this path? It's a super exciting thought. and I'm glad to be sharing it all with you guys. You guys are my spiritual family, and I love being here every week with you. Thank you for bringing your energy to play with ours, right? All right, thank you so much. Yes.
Can we share, or can I just let everybody know about Tuesday?
Please.
Sure. Everyone who knows Hugh, my little fire kid, he is having surgery Tuesday morning at Vanderbilt, 7:15 in the morning. So he's having his third skull expansion surgery to make room for his brain. So if you guys can just hold him in your hearts and in your minds on Tuesday as he has surgery, we appreciate.
For the people online, our fire pony Hugh is having surgery on Tuesday, so please keep him in your heart. Yes, we will absolutely do that. Light a candle. All right, so please check the announcements that come into your email in the what's happening on Tuesdays. Everything that we do at Mini Path Spiritual Center comes from you, and that includes your donations. So please, on your way out, put your paper donations in the blue vase right there. And if you want to give via PayPal, there's the QR code there for you to give to. We appreciate that. Everything that we do comes from you. So if we don't have anything else, let's all stand up together. And let's say our closing prayer together. Daphne, will you lead us?
Yep. All right, everyone ready? May I stay true to the path that leads me to the light that is mine to shine. May my light provide help and kindness to others on their journey. May I bring peace to every situation, comfort to the grieving, and love to all beings. May my heart remain centered on what is sacred to my soul, and so it is.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. All around the neighborhood, I'm gonna let it shine. All around the neighborhood, I'm gonna let it shine. All around the neighborhood, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll see you back next week. I hope everybody has a